So recently, DJ Envy, he's a radio personality, DJ that is on a New York station called 105.1. He has a show with Charlemagne called The Breakfast Club, and I used to listen to it at times, but he got accused for doing some fraud, scamming stuff with his partner Caesar for real estate. But before we make accusations, one, I want to hear his side, which I have a clip I'm going to play for you, and also give some feedback, because there are things that we have to be able to discern who's at fault and all this stuff. I'm always going to try to tie it back to my faith in God and showing you how you got to perceive things in life at times, especially when it comes to your investment.
Listen, so Caesar and myself did seminars. Now, the reason I did these seminars is because I wanted to uplift my community. I wanted to teach my community about real estate, things that I didn't know when I was first buying my first home. I wanted to teach our community about investing in generational wealth.
So that tells you where his heart was and everything. Sometimes we have good intentions, but it turns out to be bad, but I'll let him keep.
So I did these seminars and brought industry professionals to all these seminars, whether it was real estate agents from different markets, contractors, conventional lenders, hard money lenders. I even brought auction.com to actually show people how to purchase houses online. That's what I wanted to do for my people. Now, Caesar,
good intentions.
If he took money, I wasn't privy to it, nor did I even know. But I do understand how people feel if they did give him money, because I gave him a lot of money.
Jesus.
That I didn't see a dollar of return. But for anybody to say I was involved, that's totally not true.
So he's definitely trying to clear his name in that sense. Again, just let him say his thoughts, because the news sometimes will tend to manipulate things and change things accordingly. But what I want you to take away from this is, when it comes to your investment, you have to do a proper assessment. You have to look at things for yourself. Every investment comes with risk. Just know that. Just because you put money into something, it's not a guaranteed return. You have to be able to analyze things, ask questions, especially when you're giving money to another institution. In this case, it was these two. For him, he's saying he gave the money to Caesar. Again, I can't put blame on fingers or anything like that. That is not my intention for this. It's much more so that you're aware when you're making investment decisions, you really think about what you're doing and ask a million questions to make sure that you really understand what is it that you're actually getting yourself involved with. What are the potential returns? And don't just throw money expecting it to just grow and blossom just like that at all. Make sure it's legitimate, the things that you're putting your money towards. So that was pretty much cap of it, because these are principles that the Bible tells us to do. We got to be able to discern ourselves from the ways that sometimes people try to manipulate things to be one way. You have to continue to open up your mind to receive that wisdom and ask for that guidance, because if you don't, you might end up in a situation where you're feeling salty after a bit of time because it didn't work out exactly as you intended. There's no reason for that at all.
I would never. I've been on this radio I've been on radio close to 30 years, and never in my 30 years time did I do nothing but try to uplift people and show people a different way through the business mind, and I would never take a dollar from somebody.
Well, we don't know if what he's saying is true or not, but I'm pretty neutral about it at this point in time. But as the market is shifting, there's a lot of things going on. You're going to face that in the real estate market. If you have not purchased your first home and you start dealing with, for example, for me, when it comes to hard money lenders, I didn't want to deal with them because it just felt like I was making a deal with a drug dealer. And in reality, that's how the banking system works too. Like all these big corporations, they're all kind of doing legal drug game in a sense. They're running their operations in the same manner. The government, I look at them as a big drug dealer, right? Anything that brings money to return for them, they're going to make it lawful, right? Example, marijuana. For a long time, it was not legalized, but now they find a way to make money from it. Then they legalize it and such. So you got to make sure whatever you're putting your investment towards, you do your own research and do your own diligence in that regards. But in terms of real estate, be definitely careful in terms of the lenders you work with, the realtors that you work with, the people that you potentially could be even partnering up with, because you just never know. These are long-term investments that you're going to be locked into, especially if you're doing a loan. These are 30 years loans that you can't just step out of it anytime you want. It's not like selling stocks. You buy today and you can sell it tomorrow or next week. Real estate is much more complicated in that, and the values of these transactions are very large. So you want to make sure that you be very careful in that sense. The market right now with the real estate market, things are shifting quite a bit. I actually have one property I had put an offer on, and I think I showed this to you guys last time, for 600,000. Right? They listed at 650, and seller was like, "No, I don't want to do this. If it ain't at the value I want, it is what I'm not even gonna move forward." So I left it alone because I looked at the numbers. Right? You always want to make sure you do due diligence and crunch the numbers. If it makes financial sense, the math works out, then you can move forward with it. So I stay stuck to that number. And then yesterday, my realtor said they reached out back to her after maybe like 2 weeks of silence, right? Of saying that they're willing to potentially move this forward. Now, for me, that's a sign of now the resistance against the buyers and sellers is starting to change. The playing field is starting to change a little bit, but that's just on my side. And I'm not the only one. I've seen a lot of reports across different sectors, and I see where there are Airbnbs that are being homes that were being used for Airbnbs that are no longer being able to bring revenue, and eventually that pressure is going to be there for them to sell. Foreclosures is on the rise a little bit. Things are starting to shift. As you see more sellers, they're tight and pressured for money. They're just going to be willing to bend a little bit more and let go for a lower price and not try to hike things up as much as it is. I am feeling that too. It's not a sense of just looking at the data, but you get that sense of feeling as you're going around real estate. You're seeing things being listed on the market for much more longer days. That shift is just a slight sign of things might shift a little bit. Now, I don't know if this is temporarily gonna happen, this will stay this way, or if this is gonna be a permanent change, because if it is permanent, then it's gonna start creating decline of home prices, which can last for years. It's not a quick upbound that's going to happen with the pressure of the interest rates. Things are tight. Things are much more expensive. Like my home, it would have cost me an extra $2,000 per month if I purchased it at the interest rates of today versus at the 3.25% interest rate that I got it at. So crunching your numbers, always do also. And also with the stock crypto market, we did see crypto starting to take a bit of rebound. Be very careful. Do not have the fear of missing out. This is where you want to unplug your emotions from your brain calculations, right? Our emotions sometimes drive our decision making, and you don't want to do that when it comes to your investment. You want to make sure it's a purely calculated assessment that you're doing in order for you to make this decision that you're making. Don't let no emotions tie into it, or how beautiful this home is, or how cheap this stock is. Like, do this company have a long-term run? Crypto is hard to make that analysis because it's more of a currency as well as a technology that I see that you could do a long-term investment in. I have a lot into it. I actually transferred maybe 5,000 about a month ago just to have set aside to purchase crypto-linked stocks. Those are mainly from Grayscale, but I didn't purchase any transaction because it didn't drop low enough. I still don't have the fear of missing out. As it's going up, I see it's going up. But if it goes down past that point that I originally intended, then I'm going to buy more. If it doesn't, I'm going to put that money towards some other allocations of investment. And this is how you got to keep thinking. Don't feel fearful at all. Like, I'm already good. Like, if it goes upswing from this point on and to the point of no return, it just skyrockets like crazy, I am great. Like, I'm not going to be like, man, I could have made an extra this amount of money. No, you allocate that money towards something else. I got plenty inside of retirement, my regular brokerage account, as well as my crypto accounts allocated. And I didn't sell nothing. And at this point, everything is long-term capital gains because I held them for a year plus. Meaning when I sell, I'm paying the most 20% taxes. Versus, I remember in 2021 where I bought Doge, and then 2 months later I sold it, and I paid at the highest tax bracket of like 38%. Insane, right? But I'm at such a great advantage right now, and that's how you got to treat your investment. Be patient. Do your research. Don't just fall for things. You're going to meet like realtors, lenders, people that's going to try to sell you services or things like that. You want to make sure that you can handle it yourself. You want to make sure you always have an eye on your investment at all times. I saw the George Foreman film on Netflix. Actually, he was in the same situation. Had a guy overseeing his financials. He was not having eyes on it. He pretty much lost everything. And I don't know how much of the actual movie is true. He did rebound by the grace of God. He did give his life to Christ, and he became a very man of faith. And he overcame so much. And by sticking to that is sometimes is how you hurdle through all these tough situations. So peace and love. Put your trust in Jesus first, not man, right? And you want to make sure you ask for that wisdom constantly. If you have a hard time trying to figure out that decision, seek that guidance from the Lord. Continue to stay studying your scriptures. Peace and love. Have an amazing one. Hustle, 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 step.